Of studios set to meet with the WGA to discuss the most recent deal offer. And some industry heavyweights are pushing hard for a settlement. Julia Boorstin has the latest. This is a script writing itself here, Julia. What's going on?
Well, I'm hearing some optimism. I've been talking to a number of senior media industry executives, and they're telling me they are optimistic about progress after what they see as a productive meeting that happened between the AMPTP and the WGA on Friday. Now, while picketing continues, sources telling me that the East Coast leadership of the WGA has flown out to Los Angeles for meetings this week, meetings in which they'll respond to the AMPTP's proposed pay increases and around overall pay and also particularly streaming compensation. Now, the studios have reportedly reassured screenwriters that they will not replace them with AI tools and have offered minimum staffing requirements for the first time. And they've even reportedly broached sharing specific streaming data. Now, there is talk that the increases in streaming royalties that were won by the Directors Guild could be used as a template for these talks. And then eventually, whatever eventual writers' deal does come could be used as a template for the Screen Actors Guild, which is, of course, also out on strike. Now, all of this comes as the Screen Actors Guild strike tops 1 month, and that guild announces that it will no longer allow actors to work on indie, non-AMPTP projects in the U.S. This as it looks for more negotiating leverage. The strikes have already cost the U.S. economy an estimated $4 billion, according to the Milken Institute, which says costs will grow to $5 billion in the next month and then will rise even faster if workers are laid off and entertainment-related businesses really start to shutter here. Now, sources tell me that if things aren't resolved, specifically with actors or close to resolved with Actors Guild by Labor Day, we will start to see many more movies pushed from the fall release schedule to the spring or even later in the year. I'm hearing a lot of fear from executives that there could be massive damage to the movie industry if films are moved out of that key fall schedule, guys, because that could just train people once again that they don't have to go out to movies to be watching content. And it feels like we've seen that surge in movie going this summer. They don't want to unlearn those patterns.
But as you've schooled me, Julia, most of the movies that would be set for release this fall or winter are really in post-production and are all but done. So why would they hold them?
That's right.
Why would they hold them back? Is it because the actors can't go on promotional tours to promote the movies, or what?
Exactly. So if you think about the role that Margot Robbie played in promoting Barbie, she was out there, she was doing interviews, she was a huge part of the awareness of the movie. And studios really rely on actors to promote their films. And so if you have a film, say, like the Dune sequel, are they going to go forward and release that film without Timothée Chalamet out there to promote it, or are they going to decide to hold that to the fall? So these are the types of conversations the studios are going to really be having intensely about which films they want to release without the promotion of stars, which ones they could get away with not having that extra promotion, and which ones they're better off waiting and having that promotional engine from movie stars and maybe holding off and releasing films later. So these are tough conversations. And when you think about a big star, a big brand, when is it worth it? When is it not?
What are people doing who work on production sets? What are people doing to make ends meet? Are they taking jobs as waiters or construction or what?
Well, the one thing I would say is that the picketing is going on. So writers and actors are picketing. People who are working on production sets are trying to find jobs in reality TV, in documentaries, in those areas where there is still shooting. And I feel like reality TV is a key thing there, or anything related to sports or news or the like. Obviously, those businesses are still ongoing. And I've talked to a number of people who are either they're starting to take jobs driving for Uber or to pick up odd jobs here and there. So definitely hearing about a lot of people here in LA who are looking for temporary work, hoping that this is resolved fairly soon.
Yeah, Julie, that was sort of just what I was starting to wonder. I mean, obviously they've held out for so long, but at some point, some members of these associations, these unions, probably can't just continue forever and ever without an income. I mean, do they pressure the leaders? Hey, you got to come to a resolution. Yes, we want things better, but we also need some work.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they want to make sure that they're getting the gains that will really influence not just how they get paid, but also how the generation of writers after them get paid, or generation of actors after them. But especially the writers, it's been over 100 days. We hit the 100-day mark last week. They're saying, okay, we want to get back to work. Obviously, the studios, though they've been saving on costs right now, they want to make sure that they don't have an empty broadcast TV schedule and have to push their films out even longer. So I think there's a sense, especially for the Writers Guild strike, which has been going on for so long now, that they're really ready to get back to work. The Screen Actors Guild, they've been on strike about 31, 32 days now. So that's obviously not as long. And the question is, if we can get a resolution between the writers and the studios, how does that push the Screen Actors Guild to come to a similar compromise?
All right, Julia, thanks. Great to see you as always. Julia Boorstin.